What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge and a happy weekend to each and every one of you. In today's video, we're going to be catching up with my Funko Pop parcels. And everything I'm going to be showing off in today's video I've had for over a week now. In fact, I purchased it all in that Funniversary Sale, which I feel was like two plus weeks ago now. They discounted tons and tons of Funko Pops. I picked up a whole bunch. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys, I don't think there's anything super duper new in here, but still some pretty cool pieces. Alright, let's waste no further time and get into these guys. First up, we have the Funko Shop exclusive Pops with Purpose Captain Planet. And now if you guys weren't 100% sure what the Pops with Purpose line is essentially, I mean, what it says there on the tin, on the box. Pops with a purpose. They team up with whether it's a charity or a particular organisation to raise awareness for a specific topic. In this case, the collaboration is with Rivet. We have a picture of a gentleman named Pranav Joy here on the back of the box, and it says Pranav Joy is a young engineer from India. While at a hackathon, he and his team prototyped an AI-embedded trash can with the potential to radically increase recycling rates and help save the planet. Trashify has now been incubated and is testing prototypes with waste management companies to automate waste sorting and data collection. Pranav is a Rivet grant recipient as well as a brand ambassador, so it kind of makes sense to do this collaboration using the character, of Captain Planet, whose job it was to save the planet, right? Yeah, love this cartoon back in the day from my childhood. I was thinking, shall I go for some of the other characters? Because I believe they were all discounted in the Funniversary Sale, but I was like, you know what? I'm not, like, absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? Desperate? I don't think desperate's the right word, but let's just go with it. I'm not desperate to get every single one in this collection, but I definitely wanted one of Captain Planet, so I decided to go with a Pops with Purpose one. And I've got another first into my collection, guys, my very first Peaky Blinders Funko Pop. Here we have Alfie Solomons. And I honestly can't believe it's taken me so long to get my first Peaky Blinders Funko Pop. I was screaming to have these for years. They finally made them, and I just didn't buy them. I honestly don't know why. Maybe I was just being a bit... Well, you know what? I think I was trying to finish some other collections, or like being conscious about space issues, because everything I buy that doesn't necessarily fit into a display now or go with something else in the collection, it pretty much goes into the loft, you know, straight into storage, and you just don't get to enjoy it. And it's a little bit silly, a little bit annoying, but I have to say Peaky Blinders easily within my top 10 favourite TV shows of all time, maybe even top 5. I definitely have to kind of look into that a bit more, but without question top 10. And I loved Alfie Solomon's Tom Hardy. I thought it was such a cool portrayal. I was about to maybe give away a spoiler, but yeah, you know what, let's keep this spoiler free. Don't worry, I won't say anything, but some of you may have known where I was maybe going with this if you've seen the show and kind of knows what happens with Alfie and Tommy. But yeah, really cool pop with a cane, with the rings, the beard, the hat. Oh, it looks so cool. Yeah, I definitely have to get the rest. This, I think, was the only one that was on sale, though, to be perfectly honest. And that's kind of what I have been doing with a lot of stuff, pardon me, that I don't necessarily already have. I'm kind of waiting for it to go down in price, because last year and years gone by, I was buying stuff straight away as soon as it came out, and then within a couple of months they'd be massively discounted. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of losing money here to an extent. Well, not losing money, but I'm spending more than is necessary, if that kind of makes sense. And after more than a year, I finally got another Ted Lasso Funko Pop into the collection, guys. Here we have Nate Shelley. And I say that because the only other two Ted Lasso Funko Pops I own are the first two that they released. It was like the San Diego Comic-Con Ted Lasso and then the New York Comic-Con Coach Beard. I believe they were both last year. Surely they weren't the year before, right? I can't entirely remember, but I haven't picked up any of the other Ted Lasso, nothing from Wave 1 and nothing from Wave 2 until now, here with Nate Shelley, which like again is crazy because, yeah, you know what, Ted Lasso, thinking about it, may even be in my top 10 TV shows of all time. I'd need to do like a proper kind of sit down and go through, because sometimes you're always forgetting certain TV shows and like, oh man, that was a banger, that should kind of be there, that should kind of be there. But I've got to say, Ted Lasso, particularly that finale, was one of the most like emotional like viewings for me ever. That finale absolutely destroyed me. Happy, sad, crying, happy tears. Yeah, I was all over the place in that finale. And there's like a part of me that wants it to come back because it was so good. I love the show so much. But there's another part of me that was like, you know what, the ending was perfect. I don't think we need to come back. So yeah, it's one of those kind of bittersweet things, but very happy to get Nate Shelley into the collection. I will definitely be going for the others at some point, similarly with Peaky Blinders. But yeah, here is Nate, pardon me, with the AFC Richmond tracksuit. Love the detail on that, carrying the water bottles. I wonder if we will get like a Nate manager pop with the grey hair and the black suit eventually. That could be pretty cool. Sticking with television then, guys, I've got another trio into the Stranger Things collection. Here we have Eleven, Henry, and Jonathan. And these were all part of the latest wave. Actually, you know what? That is a lie, because the latest wave, I think, is starting to drop. I don't think we've had anything drop over here in the UK, but I definitely know some of them have dropped in pop culture in Australia, maybe even the US. But yeah, it's like they've gone absolutely crazy with all the various different waves from season 4 for Stranger Things, but I guess they always sell pretty well. It's a very popular show, so they're gonna do it right, especially when people like me and you continue to buy them. This 11, very basic. I know there was a chase variant where I believe it was just her nose bleeding, but yeah, we got the white pants, the floral dress. Love the fact that you can kind of just about see the 11 tattoo there at the back. No shorts either, no shorts, pardon me, no shoes, no footwear. I think she was just going into battle. You know what, I've already kind of forgotten what happened in season 4. I definitely need to rewatch it again before season 5 does finally drop, which, I don't know, there's still reports now that it may not drop next year. Like, so many people aren't filming apparently. And I don't know if that just has something to do with schedules. Maybe they only need certain people in at certain points to film certain things. I mean, that's pretty much how filmmaking television is done, right? It's not like you literally need every single person in on the set at the exact same time. But hopefully we do get it released next year. I mean, the show does kind of need to come to its end, in my opinion, but it's still been pretty fire the last 4 seasons. Here, speaking of fire, well, he's not quite on fire on this pop, is he? But we do have Henry, who, well, I said I wasn't really going to give away spoilers in this video, but I mean, come on, guys, we all know Henry is Vecna, right? He's number 1, so apologies if that is a spoiler for you. But here he has his key card, the white suit, of course, with the hair. Does look really, really cool. There is the other Vecna that is now coming in, let's say the newest or latest wave, where he's kind of, it's like half Henry and half Vecna, right? Where his body is all completely mashed up. I mean, there's a quick image if you guys haven't seen it before. I think that one looks very cool and we'll definitely be picking it up. And lastly, we do have Jonathan with the golf club. Only the second Jonathan Funko Pop to be released. Both he and Nancy didn't have a second Funko Pop for so long. They were in like the first, well, I don't know if it was the first waves, but I'm pretty sure they were the Pops from the first season. And then finally in season 4, they both got new ones. I think Nancy actually got 2 or 3, right? I know she had the one with a shotgun. There was the 2-pack with Robin. Was there another one? There may have even been another one, to be honest. But Jonathan, for sure, only has this as his second pop, the first one with the camera. So we've got the longer hair, the golf club, the, I don't know, kind of Miami-style 80s outfit almost to me, with the jeans, that kind of checkered shirt. He's even got like, I don't know if you guys can notice it there, we've got a lot of like dust and, I guess grime on the shirt, which I think is a pretty cool touch, a nice little addition. But yeah, the Stranger Things Funko Pop collection, absolutely crazy. There's over 200 of them. I did a short recently and I still needed so many more. It's kind of annoying because back in the day I was like, you know what? I don't really need one of every character. I just kind of want to collect my favorites, and then I just sort of changed over time. I was like, you know what, I kind of do want to complete the collection now, so some of those are a little bit more expensive. Nothing, I don't think, too crazy that I don't own already, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'll definitely be going for some of the others as well as that latest wave. On to our final TV series then, guys. Well, for live action, that is. We have House of the Dragon, and this is the Crab Feeder. Now, this is one sick and pretty gnarly looking pop. The Crab Feeder, I'm pretty sure his whole face, his whole head was burnt. I mean, he's missing hair, it's all red underneath. There's like some barnacles and stuff kind of stuck to his face. We've got this mask as well, where the eyes, like you can see one eye, the left one is like discolored, it's this blue color. I'm pretty sure he was half blind. I don't really remember too much, to be perfectly honest, from that very first season of House of the Dragon, at least like the smaller bits or the earlier bits of the season. And I'm pretty sure this was like one, maybe it went over to 2 episodes in a battle that he had with Daemon Targaryen, Matt Smith's character. But it's still as I said, a pretty sick, gnarly, very cool looking pop. A lot of detail on it. Got it for literally £4. I don't remember the prices on every single pop. This one and the Nate Shelley one that we showed off a few moments ago, definitely I remember £4. I was like, that's a pretty good bargain. As we're sort of going around again, you can see all the burnt out hair. Yeah, crazy gnarly. House of the Dragon finally has returned. Season 2 aired just earlier this week. Still need to catch that like premiere episode, but yeah, really enjoyed the first season and looking forward to more. In the meantime, I get to look forward to unboxing some more House of the Dragon Funko Pops as I picked up another 2. First up, here we have Queen Rhaenyra on Syrax. And this one is really, really cool, though I did say earlier, I was harping on, wasn't I, about being cautious with space issues, and then here I am buying a pretty big pop, or at least it's big in the box, and there are a couple of others that we're going to get to in just a moment as well. As I said, this is still really, really cool. Love the dragon scales, the eyes, the kind of paintwork. Funko definitely do a good job when they come to these rides, particularly on the dragons, at least in my opinion. And then we have the, I don't know, harness, saddle, whatever the correct term is, which Queen Rhaenyra will be sitting on there with her crown. Yeah, as we're kind of going around, more of the scales, the wings, the like horns on the wings. Again, I think Funko have just done a really good job with this. Do enjoy it a lot. I didn't really collect any of the Game of Thrones ones. I may have 1 or 2, but I don't know. I was just really kind of concentrating on other things. Obviously, that final season was a bit, well, I say a bit, it was disappointing, let's be honest. So yeah, I think I never really went back into then kind of go and collect them, even though, you know what, the first 7 seasons I loved. That's one thing we can't forget. As disappointing as the ending was, as disappointing as that final season was, up to that point, maybe there were a couple of things that I thought were way too slow, particularly that Arya arc with the faceless man and stuff. That was way too slow for me, but other things were fantastic. Really enjoyed that show. And as I said, really enjoyed the first season of House of the Dragon and can't wait to get into season 2. And we've got one more House of the Dragon pop, guys. It is Viserys on the Iron Throne. This does almost complete my House of the Dragon collection now. I have everything from the very first wave, apart from maybe 1 or 2 like variants. Like Caraxes, I think, had a metallic variant, a common variant, maybe even something else. I think I only own the metallic one, but I've never really been too interested in those kind of variants. When it's a chase, that's something else, and 2 of these are chase variants. I do actually have the chase Viserys where you kind of see his mashed up face, so I do still need that common, and then I need both the common and chase variants of Aemon Targaryen, and then I am complete once again with the House of the Dragon set. And I do remember the price I paid for this one. It was down to £9, which I thought was a pretty good deal for a deluxe Funko Pop. Now, when we say deluxe, sometimes it feels like it's only deluxe in the box or deluxe in the price. And I'm looking at a lot of those anime ones. The recently released Father from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I think Shigaraki on the couch. Those, I'm pretty sure I saw someone do a picture where they managed, pardon me, to fit one of those in a non-deluxe box. And it's like, come on, Funko, man. Charging those prices and that just because it's in a bigger box, and yet the Funko Pop is not taking up so much space. Does it need that crazy size box? I don't think so, but this one for sure, I think does look pretty deluxe, does look very cool. King Viserys on the Iron Throne, which looks always cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same Iron Throne from all the Game of Thrones releases. As I said, I don't really own maybe 1 or 2 Game of Thrones Funko Pops, but definitely none that were on the Iron Throne. I'm pretty sure it's the same mold, and they've just kind of changed the character sitting on it, which, as I said, is King Viserys with his crown. None of the gnarly features, of course, so I guess it is the pre-time skip. Nothing on the hands and fingers either, so because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he like pricking himself and becoming diseased and becoming ill and stuff, you know, catching stuff because he kept pricking himself on the Iron Throne? I think that's what the whole thing was about, if I'm not mistaken. Again, if I am, someone please do correct me in the comment section below. But yeah, pretty cool. Happy to get this in the collection. As I said, just need 3 more to complete the House of the Dragon collection as it is up to this point, and then I'm sure we'll get more, especially now with season 2 dropping. And now we move from the Iron Throne to the Earthen Throne, let's call it that, guys. We have King Boomy on his throne from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and as you guys can see, this is a little bit what I was talking about. there's a lot of box here and not a lot of pop. And that's not to say the pop isn't cool, I think it is. Yes, the throne is very, very basic, but the King Boomy figure does look really cool with the rings, with the robes. He's got that like kind of wonky eye that he had. I think they've captured that pretty well. The old man dots, as I always call them, like the blemishes on the face, does look really, really cool. Yeah, as I said, the throne is very, very basic. We do have, I'm guessing, was that the, oh goodness gracious me, the Earth Kingdom, is that what it was called? The Earth Nation? Amashu, I'm not going to lie, I had to look that up. He is the King of Amashu, and I don't know if that was their banner or if that was like the Earth Kingdom's banner. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's been a long time since I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. Can't wait, because there is more animation on the way with Aang and team, so I think that's going to be really, really cool. I think it's a movie that's coming out. Still need to watch the live action, by the way. But yeah, pretty cool. It's just like, you know, the size of it. Yes, maybe this one's a little bit too tall to fit in a standard like Funko box. I mean, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm kind of holding it up off camera here to another one of the other boxes. I don't know. Maybe not. But you're still then like, should this have been a deluxe price? I think I did pay more for it. I think it was maybe down to £15, which was probably the most I was going to pay for it. £30. I'm like, nah, not for that. I do see a lot of deluxe stuff doesn't typically sell and then it goes down in price. Is that something Funko needs to look at? I don't know. What do you guys think? Believe it or not, guys, there are no anime Funko Pops in this video. I know, right? Anime is probably the biggest part of my collection, but we do have another 2 animation Funko Pops to check out. We've got the 8-bit Jubilee and Magneto from X-Men 97. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, I'm not the biggest 8-bit fan. I'd much rather have the traditional looking Funko Pop, if we can put it that way. But having a look at this now, you know what? It's not too bad. When they first dropped, because yeah, like X-Men 97 Funko Pops dropped ages ago, didn't they? I feel it was like December time. And then they were announced even earlier than that. And when they were first announced, I was like, oh, come on, man. Why are they giving us these 8-bit ones? That's just so stupid. Like, we got, what, Cyclops, Gambit, Bishop, and Magneto in their kind of, again, the traditional Funko Pop look, which I think were very, very cool. I'd definitely grab those. And then we got this Jubilee and Magneto announced as 8-bits, and I'm like, that's just crap. Why are they going with that? And then, of course, once the show did finally drop, which I think was towards the end of March, or at least the very first episode, we did see that one of the episodes, they go into a video game, don't they? And that's the reason that we have these kind of 8-bit characters. And I was like, okay, kind of makes a little bit of sense why we have these Funko Pops then, but I'd still rather have a traditional look Jubilee with that X-Men 97 artwork banner on it. That's just me personally. But yeah, looking at this now, still does look fairly cool. I know that episode as well wasn't the most, like, I'm pretty sure it was the lowest rated one in what was a very highly rated season. I think one of the highest rated Marvel or like MCU products, if I'm not mistaken, or productions, if we can put it that way. I thoroughly loved it. Thought it was amazing. Cannot wait for season 2. And then here is Magneto as well. I guess he's holding up his hand using his magnetism powers, right? Yeah, again, you know what? Looking at it firsthand, I think it looks decent enough. I can definitely now see why a lot of people feel the brick heads are like the Lego version of Funko Pops, because I definitely think the 8-bit ones look like those brick heads a lot more. I guess you barely get anything going on the back with the characters, especially someone like Magneto with a helmet and the cape, right? Just pretty much a straight block, isn't it? Again, rather would have characters in the traditional look, but these ones, they kind of make sense from that episode again, even though it wasn't the most popular episode from that season. I know they've released a few more, wasn't there? There was like Sauron, there was, oh, I forgot some of the characters' names, the lady with like the 8 arms, or is it 6 arms, whatever it is, the television dude, his name begins with M. Yeah, they're not coming to me, guys, you know who I mean. I mean, there's a picture of the other ones. I'll probably pick them up at some point, but really do hope we get more X-Men 97 Funko Pops. I mean, where's Wolverine and Storm, for goodness sakes? Alright, I've got another trio of Pops, guys. This time for my WWE collection, we have Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, and Rowdy Roddy Piper. And now I've oddly been neglecting my WWE collection, but just here and there, like I've picked up some newer stuff, and then there's still ones from like 2 waves ago that I haven't picked up. For instance, like Vader and Rick Rude, I'm pretty sure they were 2 waves ago. So yeah, I really need to get back and get some of those. There's still a couple of the OG ones that I am missing as well, but here we have Braun Strowman, the newer Braun Strowman. There was an older one. I can't remember if I have that one or not. I want to say no, but I may have picked it up in a like an unboxed collection. I bought a bunch of unboxed Funko Pops a couple years back, and I know there were some WWE ones in there. Maybe it did contain that older Braun Strowman, but here he is now with no hair, completely bald, the beard, the kind of ripped pants, kind of looks a bit Kane-esque if you ask me. The nose ring pierce is also pretty cool. And sticking with my bald brethrens, guys, next up we have Kurt Angle. Again, the second Kurt Angle Funko Pop we have. In fact, Rowdy Roddy Piper, who we're going to check out next, that's his second Funko Pop as well. So all three of these characters having their second Funko Pops in this wave, which I think was the last wave of WWE Funko Pops. I hope that wasn't too confusing for you guys. Having said all of that, I would have definitely preferred Kurt Angle in his debut year with his hair. I just think it would have looked, well, not necessarily cooler, but it just would have been different, right? They've just slapped on this very basic bald head onto a different outfit, which, if memory serves me right, the other one was more like that traditional red, white, and blue, kind of looking a bit more Americana. This one still does, yeah, I mean, it's still red, white, and blue, but it's like a lighter blue. We've got the A there for Angle. Doesn't have the medal either, with the hands out, like kind of come get me sort of look. As I said, I would have preferred still with the hair, get that OG debut year look, but I'm pretty sure it'll come eventually. They just seem to make tons of WWE Funko Pops. And last but certainly not least, we have WWE Hall of Famer, the late, great Rowdy Roddy Piper. In some people's view, the best on the mic to ever do it. I'm not 100% sure about that, but he was without question top 5. I would definitely put him in the top 5 on the mic ever. Again, this is his second ever Funko Pop to be released. The first one was with the Hot Rod t-shirt, didn't have the goatee, didn't have the leather jacket, still had the kilt, had red boots as opposed to these brown boots. I have to say, I thought the boots were black, not brown. But this may be from a certain appearance, to be honest, whether it was in WWE or even WCW. I kind of feel like this look is more WCW to me, but having to go back through so many years of history and so many things, I honestly can't remember. If someone knows for sure, drop a comment below, you know, what is this appearance based off? Is it from a particular event, a particular WrestleMania, or is this just how Roddy was looking at one point in his career? But yeah, very happy to get it. Still very sad that he's no longer with us. I think it's been nearly 10 years since he sadly passed away. I'm pretty sure it was around 2015, 2014, 2016, something around that time period. But yeah, true loss to the industry. Love Roddy. Very happy to get this into the collection. I don't have that OG one, but I definitely would like to get it in someday. And we're on to our very last Funko Pops, guys, all from the movie category. In fact, all from the same movie. First up, we have a trio of the regulars. I am talking about The Godfather Part 2, which is in fact celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. I believe the release date, if I'm not mistaken, I looked this up yesterday, I should have just looked it up before I started filming. It was the 20th of December 1974. Again, someone can correct me if I am mistaken, but yeah, later in the year, it was a December release, let's put it that way. It will have its 50th birthday. And yeah, one of the greatest movies of all time, arguably the greatest sequel of all time. I know a lot of people talk about the Godfather movies being boring. I don't know how much they hold for today's kind of younger generation. You know, for me particularly, love these movies. I went on a massive like gangster movie sprawl in my college years, which sadly that was like 20 or so years ago now, probably showing my age there. But yeah, freaking love this movie. Became a big fan of Al Pacino, became a big fan of Robert De Niro. And yeah, particularly those first two Godfather movies, absolutely amazing. Really happy that we get Fredo into the collection. In fact, all three of these are first-time releases. None of these characters were actually released in that first wave. Well, maybe apart from Vito Corleone, but this, well, you know what? We're not onto him yet. We're on Fredo, aren't we, at first? With that kind of plaid, is that right? Plaid jacket, holding the glass of wine. I mean, I was about to kind of go into spoilers. This is like 50 years old, so if you haven't seen it by now, come on, guys. Like before a lot of us were even born, right? But you know, I'm not going to say it. You know what happens to Fredo if you have seen the movie. But yeah, just really cool to get it. Happy to add it to the collection. Apologies, I kind of started there, didn't really know where I was going with that, so I decided let's move on very quickly to Tom Hagen, who was of course portrayed by Robert Duvall. The other sad thing, I hate to kind of be a little bit, I don't know about negative or like very down here on the channel. The sad thing is like so many of these guys now are like they're either at the ends of their careers or they're sadly passing on, right? I mean, John Cazale, I didn't mention, was the actor who played Fredo. He did sadly pass away not long after The Godfather. I think it was like 4 or 5 years after part 2. But yeah, Robert Duvall, I believe, is now in his 90s. James Caan passed away, what was it, a year or two ago now, who of course played Sonny. And again, we know De Niro, Pacino, like Marlon Brando's long gone, sadly. It's just like, that's one of the worst things growing up. Your heroes and the people you have admired from the past are just sadly leaving us. It's like Father Time catches up with everyone, I guess. But you know what? That's as down as I'm going to get here, guys. Yeah, Tom Hagen, the lawyer or consigliere, apologies, that is the more correct term, I believe. Wasn't quite a member of the family. He was like an adopted kid, wasn't he? You know what? I need to go back and watch these movies. It's been so long. I was actually going to rewatch Godfather Part 1 when I flew back from Canada last year, because we had this massive delay on taking off. We actually had a massive delay on getting back as well. Like, when we got on the runway, it was big. You know what? You guys don't care about that. I was going to watch The Godfather Part 1, and I was just like, I'm a bit too tired, because I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a slow moving movie and things like this. So you need to really be in the right moods, but I definitely want to rewatch them. I mean, if you guys know what Tom Hagen does, the famous horse head scene, I mean, yeah, classic. Although that very famous scene was, of course, in Godfather Part 1, these are pops from Godfather Part 2, and that's why we have a different Vito Corleone. This was what I was about to say earlier on. So we do, of course, have the Marlon Brando release from Part 1. In Godfather Part 2, the character was played by Robert De Niro. He actually won his very first Oscar for this movie, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and he was essentially playing the younger Vito Corleone. Love this pop here. That detail and whatnot that they've even got on the flat cap is very cool. Like, you guys obviously won't be able to tell this. I'm kind of feeling it. There's a really nice texture to it, I have to say. But yeah, just the stance in general, really, really cool. When he, of course, he's like making a name for himself. He hasn't become Don Vito Corleone at this point, has he? I can't even remember the character he kills. As I said, I need to go and rewatch both movies. People say, what about Godfather Part 3? If you guys know, you kind of know, right? I think it's decent, but it just doesn't compare. There's no comparison to those first two movies, let's put it that way. But yeah, we've essentially got the gun wrapped, and it does, even like as he fires it, it kind of sets the wrapping on fire, right? And then he eventually dismantles the gun and hides it in various chimney tops above New York City, which I always thought was very, very cool, very funny, and pretty good way to get rid of gun parts, right? But yeah, happy they made this one. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess I'll say let's take a look at the final Funko Pop, guys. Also from The Godfather Part 2, this is the deluxe Michael Corleone. And sadly, this is another one of those that I think may have fit in a slightly smaller box. But to be honest, the deluxe box wasn't too big. I feel there wasn't a lot of wasted space, maybe a little bit up top, but you know what, who cares? Again, we got this in the sale. I think this was £15 though. I'm pretty sure the King Viserys on the Iron Throne was the only deluxe one that was cheaper than £15. I believe all the rest, including Rhaenyra on the Dragon, was £15. And yeah, there's not a lot going on with it, but it is still a pretty iconic scene. Well, say iconic scene, it's like Michael Corleone in his chair, right? It's, you know, you see this and you're like, holy crap, man, I need to either not necessarily be on my guard, but like be respectful, be maybe a little bit fearful, and just do not mess with this guy. Do not say the right thing. Always remember the scene, the end scene to Godfather Part 1 with the door closing. Such an iconic scene, of course. Michael Corleone, played by the great Al Pacino, one of my favourite actors of all time. So yeah, very happy to get this in the collection. I do believe, though, we've had a few Michael Corleone Funko Pops. I know I've got the one from Godfather Part 1 with the hat. He may have even had another 1 or 2 releases. In fact, he had the one with the black eye as well, I think, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did. You know what? Now I'm thinking, did we actually have a Fredo from Godfather Part 1? Because they released them in 2 different ways. We may have... I may just be talking crap and rambling on now, guys. As I said, very happy to get these in the collection. Love the movie. Need to rewatch it. happy 50th birthday Godfather Part 2. And I guess happy belated Funniversary to Funko, guys. They were all my pickups from that Funniversary sale, and that is therefore going to do it for today's video. So first and foremost, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated, and I hope you did enjoy the video. If so, be sure to give it a thumbs up and drop some comments below. What did you guys pick up in the Funniversary sale? What have you picked up recently? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, we've got plenty more content on the way for you guys. The usual Funko, Lego, statues, figures, and TCGs are all incoming in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead, guys. We are going nowhere. We really want to grow the channel, but we need your help to do it. Your likes, your shares, your comments, and particularly subscribe and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, nerds.